If you feel like you're the only one in your family parenting differently, you probably are. And that is so much heavier and so much more of a challenge than people actually realize. You're not just parenting your children, you are reparenting yourself. You're questioning the societal norms, your family's norms, what was considered best practice in the past for parenting, and you are questioning that and you're changing it. And you are trying so hard not to pass on the old hurts and patterns that you have from your family. And you're doing that all by figuring it out on the go without having had that modeled for you. And that takes a lot of courage, and it is deeply challenging on so many levels. So today I want to walk you through what it really means to be the first person in your family to break the generational cycles, why it feels so heavy, and why it's so incredibly worth it and so important to your own personal growth and development and that of your children. I'm Julie Cornish, and I'm the founder of The Rewired Parent. This is a place where we can transform our parenting from the inside out. Being a cycle breaker means that you are choosing not to repeat the same patterns and behaviors that harmed you as a child, even when you've never seen that modeled before. It might look like not yelling because you know that it doesn't feel good to be yelled at because you know that it isn't helpful and that it's damaging. It means validating emotions when yours were once punished, ignored, or seen as an annoyance. It's apologizing to your children, even though your parents likely did not apologize to you. It's creating a safe and connected environment without fear or control. And that's incredibly brave. It's incredibly challenging, and it brings up old patterns and wounds that you maybe didn't even know that you had. But that's what cycle breaking is. It's digging deep, and it's unearthing the root of a lot of issues that we have as parents that we don't want to pass on to our children. And being a cycle breaker, being a parent who is parenting in a new way can sometimes feel incredibly lonely and isolating at times. So to break free from some of that loneliness, I invite you into this little writing exercise. And you can do it now, you can do it later. I would love it if you put it in the comment section to share it. I am interested to see, and I think that other parents, it gives us a sense of connection and a sense of knowing that we are not alone. It doesn't have to be a lonely journey, that there are many parents experiencing this and going through this. And the more that we could come together, I think the more healing and productive this process can be. Write down one behavior that you've shifted as a parent and write down the value that you're replacing it with. An example would be, I stopped yelling and I'm practicing emotional safety for my child. I'm practicing looking to the root of the behavior because every behavior has a root. It has a cause. It's not them just trying to be a pain in your butt. And that simple practice of naming something, naming the value that you're going to replace it with, maybe naming why you're doing that. And if you feel compelled to put an example of your childhood that you had and then something that you're replacing it with now, that would be a beautiful thing to share as well. And that just affirms the legacy that you're building for yourself and for your family. And here's what people don't always talk about when we get into that aware parenting or that pattern breaking, generational pattern breaking parenting is the emotional toll that it takes. And I've mentioned this in other videos, that this is a labor that goes unseen. It takes so much inner work and strength to take a deep breath instead of snapping at your children. It's more difficult for some than others. It's more difficult on one day than it is on the next day, but it takes an emotional toll and it takes effort. There's also another loop that we can fall into, and that's that spiral of self-doubt when we feel like we're not doing it right, or we wonder if we're even on the right path, or is this something that we should be doing, or is the old way really the right way? And so we can fall into that spiral of self-doubt. left out. And there's grief. There's grief for our past, the things that we didn't have as children. And I'm not saying that with any type of judgment. I do believe that for the most part, our parents did the best they could with what they had. And they probably broke some patterns and cycles of their own that then gets carried on. Each generation has the opportunity to grow and to build on the mistakes that were made in the past. No one is expected to get it perfect. We're all doing the best we can with what we have. And I believe as humanity grows, our ability to connect more with our intuition is growing. And I think that supports a more aware parenting process. And for me, one of the most difficult things is the judgment you receive from possibly your family, from the community, from your culture, wherever that, wherever you are in that, and sometimes even your partner. And that can be the most difficult. You might hear things, like you're overthinking it, or you're going to spoil your child, or you're going to make them too sensitive. And my favorite one is like, we turned out fine, which I honestly, yes, we are surviving, but I don't want them to have to repair and rebuild for a good portion of their lives. I want them to have a very steady foundation so that they can really go out and enjoy and be inspired by life and not have to repair old patterns and habits as much as I can. It's obviously not going to be perfect. I'm not expecting it to be, and neither should you. But the truth of the matter is, we're not parenting to prove a point. We're not parenting to win a medal. We're not parenting rewards or accolades. We're parenting to heal. We're parenting to grow, and we're parenting to love differently, to honor our past, to grow from it, and to offer our children a beautiful future as best we can, as much as they'll take, in a really loving, healing, growth-centered way. One little tool I can offer when you're feeling triggered to keep along the path, and I am all about note cards. I buy them at the dollar store, those little stacks of note cards. I need reminders or I forget. I don't think that our brains were meant to remember and do all of the things that we currently do today. So I need a lot of reminders. There's so much happening up here that little note cards help me stay on track. That helps you throw it on a note card, put a reminder on your phone. But when you're feeling triggered, you can say something to yourself like, this is hard because it's new, not because I'm failing. It's important to remind your brain that you're doing something differently, to validate that, to acknowledge it helps to change it. So it's hard because it's new, not because I'm failing. This sentence can be a doorway to compassion. It can be a doorway to allowing yourself to take a little bit of a rest and knowing that you are doing unseen, challenging work to support yourself and your family. And that deserves a bit of acknowledgement. And so even when this challenging work of parenting in this new way feels invisible, feels unacknowledged, your work matters. Your child is learning emotional safety earlier than you did. I like to look back at my life and think about that. I'm like, wow, if I had learned this earlier on, where would I be today? And I'm not stressing about where I am, but it's just interesting to think about, had we been given some of the tools that we have the opportunity to give our children, how much more success or development or connection we could have today. And I do that just so I can be inspired of the gifts that I can give my kids if I stay the course and I continue to offer them that emotional connection, that safety, and keep moving forward. They're also learning that boundaries can be loving. So often we were raised in that authoritarian, the parent is boss. The kid does what the parent says. And we can parent from a place of setting of values, putting the boundaries around those values. They can be more understood by the child. You can even, if your child is old enough, create values together as a family. And then you can work the boundaries around those values together as a family. And that really helps the child to understand why they're in place. It isn't going to make it easy every time, but it's going to give opportunity for your child to understand why those boundaries are in place and why they're needed. And they're going to grow, the boundaries are going to grow, they're going to shift and change. And that makes the connection more deep with your family because the child is participating and it really helps them to connect with the boundary and understand why it's put in place. And I think that is helpful. It makes your life easier. And it's important for the child to understand later in life that they can create their own values and boundaries. It allows them to understand that mistakes don't have to be shameful. You don't need to feel guilt around them. You haven't done something wrong, that mistakes are the foundations for growth. It allows them to know that your home is a soft and steady place, that you are a soft and steady place for them. And that is really going to be valuable as they go into those teenage years and they start to go off on their own more, that you feel safe and that your home feels safe for them is hugely important for that connection and for helping them to feel secure as they kind of branch out. And you have this beautiful opportunity to be modeling this different kind of strength, this empowered strength that you're growing from and your child is going to see, and they're going to be able to embody an empowered strength, not one of control, but one rooted in awareness and presence and repair and connection. And that is huge. And you won't always see the results overnight. Sometimes you will. Sometimes as you shift your parenting, and some tiny shifts will make big differences in your family, and you will see it right away. Sometimes it grows over time and your child will begin to model them. They'll begin to feel them. They'll begin to feel more safe, seen, and heard. And that makes a really big difference as you grow together as a family. And as you offer yourself this gift, and as you offer your children this gift of breaking old cycles and growing into that safety and connection, you're passing that forward. You're creating a legacy. You're not just parenting, you're parenting for the future, for your grandchildren, for your great great grandchildren, and for all of the people that they connect with. And let's take another moment, another throw it in the comments moment, another write it on your note card, say it in your head moment, just to recall some time your child felt safe, and not because you were perfect, but because you stayed present, because you stayed in the moment, because you offered them a safe and secure place to be. And that's the fruit of our work. Those moments that we show up and your child feels secure, they feel safe, they feel loved, they feel the connection. So if you have a moment that pops into your head that you're thinking of, please put it in the comment section, share that with other families, share that with me. I love to read it. It makes me super happy to see that I am connecting with people and the work that I'm doing is making a difference, because that's why I'm here. That's what I want to offer to people. So if you are the first person in your family to begin to parent differently, and it feels like a burden, it feels heavy, it sometimes feels like more than you want to carry, just know that you're not doing it wrong. You're brave and you're not alone. And as always, if you need more support, I'm here for you. We can connect one-on-one, have a workbook in the description section that can help guide you a little bit further. And I also offer in there a free intention and reflection worksheet. That worksheet is great to help you connect first thing in the morning with what your intentions are for the day. Just reflect on how your day went in the end of the evening and what you might have really done well and be proud of, and what you might want to improve on the next day. And so you'll find those in the description. And again, there's a link if you want to work with me directly, even if it's just a quick phone call. You can let me know how things are going for you, or if you'd like to work more one-on-one in a coaching setting. And I just want to remind you, as always, your healing matters, your growth matters, and you matter deeply. And the work that you're doing today is going to have a lasting effect for yourself and your children and the connection of your family. So even when it feels hard, even when it feels like you're not making progress, keep showing up. Keep with it, because it matters and because you matter. So thanks so much for listening, for being here. If you got benefit, if you enjoyed this, please like, please subscribe. It helps me immensely. It makes me feel like I am on the right track. And if you know somebody who might need this, please share it with them. And I so look forward to seeing you next time. And I hope you have a great day.